Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to build an interactive dictionary. So what do I mean by that? So if you know dictionary, like let's say in our Google search engine, you can always search the meaning of a word. So let's say I have a word rain, and I say meaning. So if you do that, you will see the meanings of the word rain. So as you can see, it is showing you similar suggestions also, and the meaning for that also. So that is what I'm going to do. But let's say if somehow you make a mistake and you put double N instead of one. Oh, okay, so sorry about that. Let's try something else. Okay, so when you type a wrong word and you somehow get the result for the correct meaning, which means that Google search engine is interactive and it suggests you in case if you make any mistake when you type the word. So it also result you the exact word which might be possible that you were looking for. So that is what we say interactive. So I'm going to build that up using Java. So I have my editor here, so I'm going to use Eclipse. So sorry about the earlier one, and that was just a coincidence. I don't know what happened, so again sorry for that. So now there are two things that we have to do. First, we have to search for the meaning of the word, and second is to make it interactive as much as possible. So I'm going to use a JSON file with me. So it has the data, which means it has the word and it has the meaning. So like I can create an object and later on convert that object to, let's say, a map, so that I can get and fetch easily. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do, and this JSON file I will provide that up in my GitHub repository, and I will provide the link also, so don't worry about that. Okay, so I think that's all. So I think we can move ahead, but before we do that, one thing that if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do press the thumb icon and share my video if you like the content, and yeah, stay tuned. So let's start. So what do we need? So first we need two dependencies. So I'll describe why. So this one is specifically for our JSON, so it is going to read the file and then parse it. So that's the main thing that it has to do. The second one is common slang. So what it provides us is it provides us string utils, which is going to be used further, and I'll explain why it is being used and why do we have to. So let's first parse our JSON object and print it out to see what kind of data we have. Okay, so you have to use JSON object, but before object you have to use JSON parser because we have to parse the object. Okay, so new JSON parser. Okay, now we have the main thing. Now we have to do is parse. Okay, sorry, I made a mistake. I meant parser. Okay, so now we have to provide a file, so which is in file reader, and the name is data.json. So right now it is not in any folder, so that's why just the name. Okay, so it has to be in our object, which I'm going to name as obj, and then I have to parse it to JSON object. Okay, so you can create your local variable and it will throw you some exceptions, so catch them, or throws keyword. Okay, so now we have the object. So let's first see what data we have. So before you do that, you need to iterate over it. So how do we do that? So obj dot keyset dot let's do entry set dot iterator. Okay, so now you have to read that up in your iterator object, and let's import. Okay, now create your while loop here. It dot as next and sys out it dot next, and you can even do dot to string. So I'm going to leave it this way and let's run it. So here let me expand this up. So here you can see that we have the data in key and value format. Okay, so see this spam is equals to this, to our things like that. Okay, so I'm not going to move into each and every entry, but you see the sense like how they are going to be used up. So now let's use a word and then let's search it up and then print it out. But before we do that, we have to ask user for that word. So we have to use a scanner system.in. Okay, so enter the word. Now we have to read that up. So dot next line, and let's save it in a variable word. So now we have our word. Now what we have to do is we have to search it up in our JSON file. So let's do one thing. Let's create a method to get the meaning of that word. Okay, so it will return a string and let's call it get meaning. So what it will have, it needs to have your object first, which is our JSON object, to iterate over, and then it needs your word to get the meaning, right? Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to create the iterator it equals to obj.keyset. I'm going to use keyset because somehow it fixes, like, it is working accurately according to our situation. So now what we need is we need our while loop it dot as next. Okay, now what we need is so what we are going to do is while iterating over it, we have to do a search, okay, if it is matching our word or not. So I'm going to save the current iteration in a string variable. Now we just have to do a if. So if the word provided by our user is equals to the current iteration, that means that that's it. You just have to return the meaning, right? So how do we return the meaning is we have to do obj.get. So here we have to provide the key. Right now we are iterating over key, so our key will be w, and then we have to do dot to string because we are providing a string. So that's the case when we are getting the word, but there could be a scenario where we don't. So in that case I'm going to return a blank string. Okay, so that's it. So let's run it and try. So I think we can do sys out right now to print the value, but we may have to change it soon to customize it in an optimized way. So let's run it. So let's do drain. Okay, so it's working, and let's try now a wrong word. So in this case we have to return like the word doesn't exist, so we have to do that kind of thing first. So to do that, we first have to save the result into an object. Okay, now we just have to do a if else condition. So if result dot equals blank, that means that the object wasn't found. So we just have to say word doesn't exist, else print the word, which means print the result. And you can also print the word which does not exist, so something like this. And let's try now. So let's try rain. Let's try. Okay, so word this does not exist. Now let's try the correct word. So yeah, it's working, so that's good. Now the second thing is, like I told you, is suggestions. So we have to get the suggestions. So to do that, we need one method, so which is in our string utils class, which string utils is being provided to us by common slang jar file. So it comes with a method which is to find the probability that this word is getting matched with this word and with how much probability. So that kind of thing, but I don't want to explain those in words. Let's just do it. Okay, so how do we do that? Okay, so let's say if it doesn't find the word, okay, in that case we have to do another iteration, which means that we have to find the possible outcomes, right? So what we have to do is, before saying word doesn't exist, right, what we have to do is we have to check if there are possible outcomes for that or not. So let's create a method get possible outcomes. Okay, so right now I'm not going to okay, I think we may have to return something, but let's see. So get possible outcomes. Okay, now again it needs your JSON object obj and word. So it again has to iterate over your key set. Okay, so now let's do one thing, if condition, right? So but before we do that, we have to get the word it.next.toString. Okay, now we have to get the difference. So what does difference mean? We have string utils dot get I don't know how to pronounce it, but it is actually fetching how similar the words are. So this is our source word and this is our target word. So source is this, so I don't know if that order matters or not. Okay, so it's up to you. So now our difference will be in int. So what I'm going to do is, if the difference is equals 1, that means that there is only one character in, like there is only one character difference. So let's print, I'll tell you what I mean. So sys out, I just have to print the word in this case, otherwise return blank. And here let's do obj and word. So good to go, but it is not printing anything right now. Okay, it is. Okay, so we are good. So let's do RAINN. So it printed you rainy and rain. So why rainy? If you see, there is one character out of place, So for the second n we have y, and here for the second n we have blank. So we need to ask the user, did you mean rainy or did you mean rain? So that's how it should work. So it should print the user like, did you mean this? If you do, enter the word, and then we will get the meaning of that word, right? So let's do this. So in this case we found the difference equals to 1, right? So in that case we have to first notify, or the code should know that it found a match. If it doesn't, so let's say in this case there is no way that it will find a possible outcome, right? So it will terminate, but we have to notify the user that this word does not exist. So we will have a Boolean variable here which will actually notify if it found the possible match or not. So by default it will be false, and here it will be true. Okay, so if it returns true, then in that case what we have to do is, I don't think we have to do anything with Boolean. Let me remove this. I think we can do this in another way. So if in case that happens, so we can store the result in our result variable, and then we can again do a if else condition. Again, if result dot equals blank blank, then we just do word does not exist. So let's run this, see if it is working. So this word does not exist. So that's cool, right? Now we just have to print suggestions. So here we are printing the suggestion, but before we do that, what we have to do is we have to let user know, did you mean that, because we did not find the possible, like the exact match. Okay, so in that case we don't have to actually print here. So what we are going to do is, again, like I told you, found equals to true, or you can use another thing, list.add our word. So as many matches it can find, we can just store it in a list, right? Okay, import. So we are adding, so if the list size is greater than 0, which means that it found the possible outcomes, right? So that way greater than 0, right? Or what you can do is just iterate over your for loop, but before we do that we just have to print sys out we couldn't find word but we found similar words, so check suggestions below. Okay, so now we can just print our list. Okay, let's see. So we couldn't find word rain, but we found similar words, so please check suggestions below rainy, rain. Okay, So now it printed us this, so we can't actually return blank here in this case. So again what we will do is we will again ask user to check what word he meant. Okay, I forgot to type this out. Please choose word from above suggestions or press enter to quit. So that's it. So in this case, if user type anything, so we will just return it using sc.next line. And oh, so this will be when the user type a word which is not blank, right? So we just have to do is string, so let's replace word here or create a new variable. Sorry about that. So string w equals to sc.next line, and if w dot equals blank blank. Okay, actually we don't have to do this, we can just do this. Okay, so let's see. There is one or two things left. So we couldn't find this. Rain, please choose word from above suggestions or press enter to quit. So let's first press enter to quit. Okay, word rain does not exist, so it should not print in this case does not exist, right? So in this case, if get possible outcomes is blank, that means, yeah, I think that works fine, right? Now in the case when user actually type anything, so let's say rainy, so it's not doing anything. Why? Because we are actually getting a result, and here we have to put a else condition. In that case we have to do get meaning, okay, of that word, no, of result, because we are getting that in result. So let's do this, and I think we are all done here. And here let me just do rainy this time. So see, it works fine. Okay, I think that was all. So I think I took longer than expected, but now you see how we can achieve this, and I think you can also customize this in your own way. I don't know if I have done that right now or not, but yeah, you are good to go. You have the base right now, so you can do many things. You can create a GUI, and then you can create a button, and on click of that button you can do that dictionary output or thing like that. So yeah, that is all. So thank you again for watching. Subscribe to my channel, share my video, like, and always comment if you need anything. I'm always here. Stay tuned for more. Have a good day. Bye bye.